Good morning, sisters and brothers. Eddie Marcus here again. Man, you really did piss God off. I mean, you really pissed God off. Having contemplated your creation, all of what you are in the physical and in the spiritual, some say you were made to give comfort to God, God lonely. Others say you were made to assist God in creation, in the creative process, in that you have so much skills, so much ability, so much potential. But gee whiz, you must really made God mad. Having given you all of this capability, he wanted you apparently to use it as you saw fit. Gave you choice. Gave you choice to be obedient or disobedient. For all of those of you who have children, you know how it affects you when you recognize and realize that out of all you've done, you've got a disobedient child. Now, not all children are disobedient. At least, if they are, they got different levels of degrees. The parent who has a child that's obedient, that listens and observes and understands and does what is appropriate, what is acceptable, and goes forward through life doing just that. I mean, how proud can a parent be? And then there are those of you who have children who have experienced the opposite, where you've given your all, done for the child that which was never done for you because of your love and affection and your desire for that child. Only to find out the moment that child walks out of the door, that child is as weak as a sponge. Absorb all of the ugliness that the world has to offer. And it seems that all of the goodness means nothing. How sickening that child can make you feel. You know the story. Every last one of you who have more than one child know the story. And so, having experienced that, knowing that story, you can understand a little bit what I'm talking about when God made all of us. All of us. I wonder what was going on in that garden. I really wonder what was going on in that garden when it was determined and a decision was made that women would have the children. They would be the cradle for the production of children. That's a wonderful thing. Fulfilling the earth. But the sad thing of it is the pain that you have to go through to deliver a child into the world. I can't think of no pain that's any worse than that pain. Most people who've gone through that pain think that death couldn't be any worse than that. But they survive it. I wonder why the pain is there. Is it possible that the pain could have been excused? I heard somebody say that at one time the pain was not supposed to be there. But the pain was a part of punishment for something. Maybe disobedience. I don't know. I do know, though, that if the decision was made that man had to produce and deliver the children, the earth would have been empty. Man got a problem when he's constipated, let alone bringing out a baby. Pain. God must be going through all kinds of pain to see that family put together and then produce children in the before long. The children are fighting amongst each other. Wonder what could that be? The only thing that I can conjure up in my mind that would put a division such between the child or the children is a division that is expressed with the parents. When I see Adam and I see Eve going one way and Adam going another. Eve going one way and Adam going another. It's kind of easy for me to see that when I think about what happened in the garden. According to the story, the devil didn't talk to Adam, or maybe he did, but he wasn't convincing. And so he tried another party. I can imagine how he was able to persuade Eve just based upon the things that happen in the world today. You can tell a woman how beautiful she is. She can be ugly as daylight. But you tell her how beautiful she is, how wonderful she is, and next thing you know, you got her in the palm of your hand. I'm not saying that happened, but it's just a thought I throw out there. And before you know it, you've got control. Now, having that control, I can imagine the lack of control that Adam had. I have to see it this way, ladies and gentlemen, because here comes Cain and Abel. And if the parents are split, if they're going separate ways, I'm sure that each one of them are going to cater to a child more than the other. And so that division which was created and established and existed between the parents found another growing ground in the children. And so that other story began where one child kills the other, fighting, death, the fruition of dissension between the parents. And that's just the beginning. That has never stopped. The lying, the deception that started in the garden is like a mountain today in the souls of people. That animosity, that belligerence. Wow, it's bigger than a mountain. For it seems that all that people love to do is to kill one another. Selfish. Man, I'm sure God is pissed. And yet, when I think about it, I think about my nation, my country. I think about how the pain and suffering exist, how it has expanded itself, where those essentials for survival are tampered with to the degree that many don't have them. And they come up with all kinds of excuses why it exists. I think about the people who don't have homes, who don't have adequate food, who don't have adequate clothing, who can't receive the adequate education. Well, whatever, they might be blessed for not receiving the education that is conjured up for them. Denied health care. They say it's too expensive. The old folks who receive some type of Social Security or Medicare, Medicaid, have it cut back, too expensive, while they take money from the bank and they invested in military armaments to do what? To kill. To keep people subject to a certain power. How they take money and fake things like going to the moon, spend billions and trillions of dollars over time, where most of that money goes to the hands of their friends and associates, while they keep the people ignorant and dumb. And yet the almighty power that created all of you still got hope in you. They say keep hope alive. Got hope in you that you will change. But knowing that you just won't change on your own, every now and then points a finger at an individual and causes a miracle to happen in their lives, to open up their eyes so they can see what normal people cannot see. They can see the hands of God by the observation of something that human beings just cannot do, in hopes of turning that one around so that one can come back to the public and tell you that there is a God, that the way things are in our lives today does not have to be, that we have choice, that we can choose, my friends, to experience that which somebody told us we will have when we die. Sometimes you call them preachers. That's the name, common name. They have all kinds of names. But their purpose, their job is the same. To tell you that there is an enemy out there that's distracting you, that's deceiving you, that's leading you down a path of your destruction, and you have the choice to turn around, beginning with the one who has seen the hand of God. The one who has seen the hand of God sacrifices all that is to share with you what possibly can be and is in your hands to cause to be. The one that has been recognized from the stories that we as Americans have received is Jesus Christ, who was offered all that any human being could want. You know what you want to do when you win that $300 million lottery? You want to do everything you want to do. Travel anywhere in the world you want to travel. Any way you want to travel. Have all the goods and services at your disposal. Do kind things for people. And many of you might want to do some evil things for people. But if you just had that lottery, that money, you can do anything you want to do in your own mind. Well, that one who has been tapped by God comes and tells you that you already got that potential. You don't have to put out to win a lottery. All you got to do is wake up. Wake up and come together. Come together, because God, my friends, believe me, OU is not any more concerned about you than he is all of the rest. I know there's a deceptive mode taking place when you start saying, God bless my football team, help me to win. When you say help me to win, you're asking God to help the others to lose. Football, basketball, baseball, help me to win. You're not asking God to give me the best, give me the ability to be the best, to do the best that I can do so that potentially my team can win. You're asking God to choose you. God isn't going to choose you. The one who wins is the one with the heart, the one that won't give up, the one who believes that they can win. Those are the winners. And you think God is going to choose you and bless you? You say, well, why did he choose an individual? That individual, hey, don't think that individual got off. Because that individual knows that individual is responsible. Responsibility that you do not have, that individual does. You are walking in blindness. You can bump your heads into the walls to every wall you run into. Every wall that's in before you, you got the an excuse for bumping your head into it. But the one who has his eyes open does not have that excuse. He got to walk around it. He got to tear down that pole. He got to tear down that abuse that exists. He's responsible to give to you the truth and to live that truth before you. And history teaches us that everyone that lives that truth before you is killed. Why? Because you, my friends, are so deep in your sleep. So deep in your sleep. Think about the men that God has sent before you. Not the ones who ask you for seeds and God gonna give you a big blessing. Don't believe that lie. Don't believe that if you give $1,000 seed, God is watching. He's gonna pour you out a blessing according to your giving to the church. That money doesn't go to God. That money goes to lift up some thug calling himself a preacher. Don't believe it when someone sits before you and say, today might be the day that God has for you. Don't you know God has a day for everybody? Everybody. God doesn't choose a day for you and everybody's got to suffer this week and maybe next week he choose somebody else. Don't believe that junk. That's the way men are. That's the way your government is. That's the way your authorities are. They hand out gifts according to the ones that benefit them the most, but not God. God gave every human being on the face of the earth a nose and a body that requires air and oxygen. Not some, every last one of you. Every last one of you require food. And he prepared it that every last one of you can have food, but you do not have it because of men who decide that they don't want you to have it. But you have choice to walk according to that or change your mind and change that around. But you expect God to do it. Why didn't he give you the ability if he's going to have to do it? Some of you have been told that you have to wait around till Jesus Christ come back off a cloud somewhere. I'm not saying that he's not going to come. I don't know anything about that, but I'm saying why should he? If you got the ability to fix things, why should he come and fix it for you? If you got the ability to fix things, why should he come back? And if he's going to come back and do it for you, why didn't he do it for you when he was here? Because that was not his mission. His mission was to tell you to reject all things that are not godly, regardless of what they offer. Reject all of the lottery winnings and all of the things that you could do with the lottery winnings if it's under a system like the ones we live under today, not just here in America, but all over the earth. I sound like I'm fussing. Some people call us preaching. I call it getting rid of a headache. I've spent 40 years out here in this wilderness, ladies and gentlemen. I've seen the lying, the cheating, the stealing, and the killing. And I've seen the deception. I've never seen it as I see it today, with you, the people, choosing to discard all of the other evils that you have received under Republicans and Democrats as far as government is concerned. You put all that junk aside. And they selected two evil people, the powers that be on this earth, not just here in America, because the Americans don't really have any power, except their association with the secret societies that have been established to do the things that they do. They have selected people and put before you, making you think you got choice. Your choice was between two selected evils. And you couldn't see the difference. Your heart would not allow you to see the difference. And you marched to the polls voting for evil. And those who call themselves being led by the Spirit of God, born again, filled with the Holy Ghost and fire, walked in those same steps right to that poll and voted for their choice of evil. And we have never seen evil, those of us who are living today, have never seen evil in the office like we see evil today. Your congressmen allow policies to be passed and laws made that allow the people to continue to suffer with the same suffering of yesterday. Your congressmen who have said that they would serve your purpose and you have trusted them, they lied to you, they were deceived themselves. And now you got a president who sits and stands before you and tell bold-faced lies. And you, the people, sit on your loins. At first you thought that General Kelly was going to go in and whip this president, this evil one in line. Kelly told you that's not his job. I don't even know today if Kelly has that job. Now you're sitting back making jokes trying to feed those who are against Trump. And others are feeding those who are for Trump. But those of you who want to see Trump gone are putting your faith in Robert Mueller. You think that he's going to be your savior. The power is not in Mueller. You're trying to put the power on him, just like you want to put the power on Jesus. Jesus is going to come save you. Mueller is going to come and save you. The power to save you is in your own hands, my friends. What the hell are you waiting on? And I'm not talking about killing Trump. I'm talking about standing up and demand that justice be the number one thing on this planet, especially here in the United States of America. That means that the gifts that you have, the resources that have been put at your disposal be used for the benefit of mankind here in the United States. That the food and clothing and shelter be made available to all as if they're in heaven. That they have access to real, true education that allows them to be logical, that allows them to be experimental, that they are protected from the sicknesses and diseases. It is in your hands to do that. Your hands. You can't put that responsibility in Congress' hands. Look what you did. You put Congress people there. You gave them a health care system that's different from your own. They got health care for life in the best. And you struggling, wondering, can you get your teeth fixed? What in the world is wrong with you? And you calling yourselves progressive. You calling yourselves somebody. When God look at you, he feels sick, but he loves you still. That's why I'm sitting here speaking to you with no teeth. But because I don't have it, I know what you are. I know you are a liar. Your love for God is about as much love as some people from the South have for animals. For a dog. There are people in the South can't stand a dog. While people in other places can't love them enough. You're putting this responsibility on someone else. They're saying that. I'm not going to even go into all the things they're saying. But I want to say this to you, ladies and gentlemen. There is a God. And God made us that we could live as if in paradise or as if in heaven, or we could live as if in the pit and the bottom of hell. But that choice is ours. And I say to those of you who are genuinely lovers of God, you are in the middle of this hell, but this hell is sinking lower and lower. I say to you, don't you change. You continue to do everything you possibly can to create heaven here in the middle of this hell. And don't you let anything change you. Because if there's going to be a reason for Jesus Christ or anybody else by the power of God to come out of the heavens and save anyone, it will be you. It will be you. You might not have a house. You might not have adequate food and clothing. You might be denied the education that has been made available to so many others. You might not even have health care. But as long as you got love in your heart and you stand by the power that you've been given against this evilness of this world, God, my friend, is obligated to you. He's as obligated to save you as he is obligated to send the rest who made the other choice straight to hell by their own choosing. So don't think that you are alone. The Spirit of love is with you. And by that Spirit, which is the only way, I've heard people say there are many ways to God. I hope they mean men can get there, women can get there, old folk can get there, children can get there, Americans can get there, Russians can get there. I hope they mean that maybe Catholics can get there, Protestants can get there, Buddhists can get there. Yes, I hope that's what they mean. But there's only one way to God. All these other different things might be okay, but only one way, and that is the way of love. Ain't nobody going to God without love. You remember that. Boy, God must really be pissed off with you, because he got me sitting here talking to you. I'm not ashamed of God. I'm ashamed of you. And that's why the love for God, the love of God, for you enables me to speak to something as shameful as the human race. And that is because of God's love. Thank you for listening.